Don't let anyone know, but this is a digital camera. So yes, a digital camera for me on a walk up a mountain. Whatever will be next? Well, I've decided today to bring my super-duper flexible Micro Four Thirds outfit, because as I have said in the past, I do think in terms of digital equipment, Micro Four Thirds is by far the best for hiking. Now I'm going up those two mountains there, one on the left first, then the one on the right. So I really need to keep my equipment as simple and lightweight as possible. So what is the camera I have got with me today? Well, it is a Micro Four Thirds Panasonic G80 with a 14 to 140 all-in-one zoom lens. A bit like the outfit I carry for 35mm, except it's smaller, it's lighter, it's got image stabilization, and it's got 4K video as well. Right then, we are going up. That one first, bit of a steep climb. And as I said, that's why I'm carrying lightweight gear. Now obviously climbing up these mountains I am pretty fit. But still, with a bag weighing about 14 kilos, I need to keep the camera weight down as much as possible. Well, any minute now I'm going to get to the bottom of the mountain and start the slog up, and that's when the virtues of super light cameras really come into play, because I might not exhaust myself before the day's even started. Apologies for the hair. Anyway, one of the nice things about having such a long-ranging lens on today is the best shots this time of the morning are at a hell of a distance, probably about 15-20 miles. And I need the longest end of this zoom. Now, if I had a bulkier camera system, a 300mm at the long end would be huge. This thing's tiny. Okay then, top of the first mountain, let me talk a little bit more about the camera. Now, I've had this about 6 years. It is a general consumer Micro Four Thirds camera. 4K video, 16 megapixel sensor, image stabilization built in, absolutely fantastic, weighs nothing. Now the lens is very interesting because I bought this a few years ago to go to Canada, and it's all I shot with on a holiday, and it's a 14 to 140. Now that is equivalent to 28 to 280. Now that's a huge zoom range, and it's all I'll ever need. And what I've really found useful, as you've probably seen in the photographs coming up here, is the long end of the zoom, because the long end has allowed me to focus in on those beautiful mountains with the layering and the mist, and it compresses and produces almost like an ethereal sort of seascape view. It's quite abstract, really. Now without that 280mm I wouldn't be able to get that. Now my equivalent film camera goes to 200mm, which isn't quite long enough sometimes, so I'm finding this an absolute boon today. Now another thing, I've got a polarizing filter permanently attached to the camera today. I can afford the 2 stops loss in speed because it's bright, it's Micro Four Thirds, I only need f6.3, 7.1 and everything's in focus. And I've got image stabilization, as I said before, so this camera is absolutely ideal for, if you can put the lens back on, absolutely ideal for hiking. It's perfect. Now obviously I'm a film aficionado, so I try to carry something quite similar, but for digital work I wouldn't consider anything else up in the mountains. as I make my descent off the first mountain top, something else I must point out, one of the huge advantages for Micro Four Thirds as a landscape photographer and as a handheld landscape photographer is the depth of field. Now, Micro Four Thirds probably has about 2 stops more depth of field for the equivalent in focus zone over full frame or 35mm. Now, this means if I set the thing to about f7.1, everything's going to be in focus at the wider end of this lens. It means I don't have to concern myself with stopping down excessively. It means I can keep the shutter speeds high, I can keep the ISO low. It's just a win-win situation. Anyway, enough about the photography. This is absolutely lovely this morning. Absolutely beautiful day to be out with the camera. Beautiful day to be out without the camera as well. This is, I would class, more of a walk than a photography trip. Photography is a bonus. When you get weather like this, you've got to make the most of it. Get up into the hills, forget the tripod, forget the big camera, just enjoy being out in nature. It just does marvellous things to you. Right, I am walking backwards. I'm going up that one behind me now, the biggie. That's the second mountain of the day. Jelly babies, plenty to drink, bit of suntan cream I think slapped on the face, and crack on and get up there. But there is something actually I need your help with. I'm going to ask you that at the top. Now, although I'm obviously fit as a fiddle and nimble and agile as a mountain goat, I do find that the amount of equipment I bring up here is still a challenge. Now, this is a very simple Micro Four Thirds camera. It weighs less than my film cameras. However, I do want to come out mainly with the film camera, so I do need a bit of assistance from you in terms of selecting what I actually carry with me. Oh, the genius of jelly babies and Kendall mint cake. Nom nom. Right then, back to my question I have for you all. Now, I like to shoot with film predominantly, but I have enjoyed this super zoom today on the Micro Four Thirds. Now, I have got a couple of stabilised lenses for my Nikon 35mm outfit. I've got a 24-85 and a 70-300, but I hate carrying 2 lenses. So what I'm wondering is, should I get myself the 28-300 vibration reduction Nikkor lens, which is a big beast, and use it as an all-in-one lens for my hiking? Now, it's a lot heavier than the current non-stabilised Tamron 28-200 I use, but it's got that stabilisation. It's also got better image quality, it's got the extra reach, and I'm just not sure. So not only is it a question of should I get that lens, but do you know of any other camera systems, 35mm film, which have an excellent super zoom, which has preferably stabilisation and isn't too big, bulky, heavy, etc. If it exists, just let me know. I may consider actually swapping out my Nikon for hikes like this. So that was my day up in the mountains with the Micro Four Thirds camera for a change. And a great day it was too. Maybe not photographically, but I had great fun anyway. But if you'd like to see a more personal take on this walk taken with this particular camera, check out tomorrow night's video. Hopefully it'll show you 2 sides of the same day. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.